Unless you have insane genetics, it can be so simple to make mistakes maintaining a healthy weight when you're an adult. I honestly hope that you do have insane genetics. That'd be fantastic. Trying to talk about balancing weight as far as like muscle versus fat and stuff like that. I'm not talking about official facts. Again, like I've already did this disclaimer, but I feel like I should say it again, especially for this topic. There's so much information on this topic. You can talk to nutritionists, you can talk to bodybuilders, you can talk to general people around the world about any particular topic, especially this one when it comes to maintaining a healthy weight throughout your life, especially when it comes to like muscle versus fat and muscle growth and stuff like that. There's a lot of things I learned along the way, and I am not perfect. I got a bit of a belly here that you can't see right now. And I'm not definitely like the thinnest guy in the world, but I think I'm at a healthy weight for the most part. I don't know, and I try to maintain it the best I can, at least in doing some conscious decisions and keeping myself on the right track. There's a lot that I learned when I was a kid, a lot about my transition in my desk jobs, and a lot about the extra activities I used to do, and a lot in life that I'm trying to be deliberate about. And you got to make time for things, and you got to follow your instincts and stuff like that. So to get into it, let's talk a little bit about that. So when I was, 15, 16, 17, 18, that type of range, I had absolutely no thoughts about maintaining my weight. It wasn't really at the forefront of my mind at all. It was kind of like just an afterthought where I might look in the mirror and be like, well, whatever. And to be honest, I kind of thought I was a little bit overweight at the time just because I had a little bit more belly fat than I wanted. And looking back on it, like, I wish I was at that weight. I wish I was at that body type because I was pretty thin. And I actually like denied it when someone would say I was or something like that. I'm like, nah. And that was just a poor mindset to have. And I could talk a little bit about mindset when it comes to this type of thing too, because what you consider to be a good weight might not be what's actually a good weight. I mean, you can be on either side of the spectrum. You might think you have not enough body fat. You might think you're too thin, or you might think you have too much body fat. You might think you're too large. You might think that you're just in the worst position possible, but actually you're at a healthy weight. You're doing fine. And unless you talk to like a nutritionist or a doctor, you might not know officially like what body weight you're at and if that's healthy or not. If you do want official information, there's a lot of tools online. There's a lot of body measurements that you can enter in online to get a good calculation on your BMI, get a good calculation on all these types of things about your body, because you can put in your height, you can put in your weight, you can put in your age, and all the different things, and they can tell you like a good rough estimate of what they think is probably the most likely good healthy weight that you can be at. Whatever weight that you have that makes you feel like you're active enough and you're healthy enough to move around and you're healthy enough to do what you want to do and not feel encumbered by your weight or by your lung capacity or by your way of heartbeats. Like, obviously you want to be able to go up flights of stairs when you have to, stuff like that. Like, I feel like I can do all those things if I need to. I'm at 28 right now, and I feel like I could tackle a flight of stairs, no problem. I did it last week. We did some hiking and we did a lot of stuff that was very strenuous and stuff that really got your heart going. So, I mean, I was able to do it. Obviously, it put a little strain on both of us when we did it, but we got through it. I feel like because we did it, we're healthy enough to keep going. There's a lot of mindsets you can get into as far as weight, and you don't really want to put yourself in a really bad mindset about it, because if you are like just a tiny bit overweight, honestly, don't feel like you have to hurt yourself like mentally to encourage yourself to lose all that immediately and take drastic measures like starving yourself. That's not how you do things. I think what I've learned when it comes to maintaining the right body weight and the right muscle weight ratio is just to follow your instincts. If you had insane genetics, obviously that's going to carry along the way. But what happened when I was a kid and I was transitioning and getting older is I would want to do extra things like go play tennis. I would want to go run around outside. I would want to ride my bike. I would want to just walk around more often, and I would walk around the neighborhood. I didn't have a car, obviously, so it was much easier to keep myself active rather than just sitting around going from place to place and sitting down somewhere else. You sit down at home, you get in a car, you go sit down somewhere else. That's not really what you should do. You just try to be active when you can. And when I was about 17, 18, 19, I was going to work at Hy-Vee at a grocery store, and I was walking like 10, 20,000 steps a day. And it's not even an exaggeration at all. And it was insane. It was like, 8 to 10 miles sometimes. And I noticed that my body kept on being pretty good. I didn't have to worry about balancing my weight versus my fat and muscle and stuff like that. I didn't have to worry about that type of thing because I would naturally be walking a lot. And I didn't like junk pile a bunch of food when I got home and calorie load. I didn't do anything like that. So I definitely maintained a healthy weight, I think, when I was around that age. And then when I was about 19, 20, I transitioned to a desk job. That's when things got a little dicey for me. I started to make bad decisions without really thinking about it, because I would be at home, I would drive to work, I'd be sitting down at my desk, and I would barely walk. I would walk just as much as anybody might without being deliberate about it for 8 hours. I'd be sitting there and not doing much. So when it comes to maintaining a good healthy weight at that point in time, you have to recognize what situation you're in. Like, am I active at any point during my day? Am I walking at any point during my day? Because if I'm not, I need to slot that in. I got to be deliberate. I got to make time to exercise or to move around a little bit. Or what I gotta do is try and maintain and monitor how much food I'm eating. We got one of those little scales. I don't know if you've ever seen a little scale that you use to measure food. So that was a deliberate decision. We monitored what type of food we eat and how much we ate. We monitored the amount of ounces that we had, and really measuring those out can really help you exactly understand how much calories you have. Because if you're not exercising, you need to make sure you're not going above and beyond of what calories you should have per day, because there's going to be no deficit. There's going to be only intake, and you're going to go well and above beyond. So maybe if you're not exercising, get one of those tiny little itty bitty scales and measure your food so you don't completely overdo it on the chicken or something like that. But back kind of into the exercise topic, if you have a situation in life where you don't have opportunity that comes across naturally, that you get a chance to walk around for a while, you got to make that happen. Just slot in an hour before you start your day in the early morning, walk around a block for a bit. It's not like it has to be this insanely deliberate exercise plan. Find an activity or a hobby, like an extra activity like tennis or a sport of any kind, football, it could be soccer, it could be, or just, biking and stuff like that. Or I had a great opportunity when I was in my mid-20s, because this game Pokemon Go came out, and I was like, I need to get on my bike, I need to ride around the town and play this game, because not only was it healthy for me, but it's fun to play a game and ride around on my bike at the same time. Wow. So task overlapping in that regard really helped me fight a little bit about weight gain. I don't know what my top weight was or is throughout my life so far, but I have managed to stay kind of moderate. I haven't really had to think about purchasing any XL shirts or anything like that, if that makes sense to you. I've been able to choose medium or large, and I feel like that's been comfortable. I've had a lot of desk jobs over the past 8 years. And currently, I'm not necessarily in a desk job. It's kind of half flat. And me recognizing that I do walk a lot when I'm not sitting in the back of the office on the phones. I do walk a lot when I'm in front, and I'm running back and forth helping customers and running back and forth helping the dogs at my current job. So because I had good work ethic, I move fast. I had my instincts is to kind of use my energy at work and really put myself in a situation where I can burn a lot of calories maybe and just be a little bit healthier. And I feel like it's a good way to task overlap that. So to talk a little bit about the diet plans that are out there, the stuff I've learned, I've looked into so many things, and I've heard so many speeches from nutritional supposed experts, from bodybuilder, weightlifting experts. I've heard a lot from my brother as well, who did a lot of nutritional research and exercise plans that when he was in the military and out of it too. When I was in that situation where I really wanted to tackle deliberately weight loss, muscle gain, high protein diets really helped. Setting aside time to go to the gym, of course, helped. I would either do that in the morning or in the afternoon, depending on what type of day I had. I tried to regiment that in before I went to work, having a deliberate time to go to the gym and work on some sort of plan. And you don't have to stick to your plan specifically. What I really did at most, and I definitely, this is something I've learned, which I encourage you to do, is just try to step foot in the gym. Try and step foot in that activity that you're planning on putting into your routine. At least go toward it because once you're toward it, you're probably going to end up doing it, and it's going to be good for you. And doing that deliberately really helps you fight against the insane amount of fat gaining that you might do if you're just sitting around all day, if you're snacking or what have you. Obviously, sitting around all day and not eating is definitely not the best either. Maintaining around the amount of calorie intake versus calorie burning is definitely important, and high protein diets can help you, feel a little bit fuller, so you won't be consuming as much calories, and it'll be helpful for your muscles as well. If you're working out your muscles in any particular activity, make sure you're consuming a lot of protein so your muscles have a good chance to regenerate themselves and grow a little bit, hopefully too. Just try and be cognizant, try and be aware as much as possible about what you're doing in life, what you're eating. Try and be deliberate about the meals you have. I mean, there are instincts that I just generally follow. Like, obviously you shouldn't have Taco Bell 3, 4, 5 times a week. That's a no-brainer, I think. I mean, obviously, that's just something that's come second nature to me. I used to do that type of thing when I was 18 or 19 and have Taco Bell a few times a week, and I didn't see any bad results because I was basically working out and moving around at Hy-Vee a lot. I don't know if that was particularly why, but that amount of fat intake and greasy, salty intake was probably not good in general. But I was young, and your young body can take it. But when you're old, your metabolism can start to slow down. Your decisions in life can slow you down. Stuff in life that you have to do can sometimes generally just slow you down. So it's important to be deliberate about the type of thing you're doing. And honestly, I could leave it at that. Honestly, there's so much you can talk about when it comes to exercise regimens and diet plans and stuff like that. And there's a lot of research you can do. If you want to do the research, go ahead and do the research. And there's a lot of great things out there to help you maintain a good weight if you wanted to. Healthy weight is better than being unhealthily above your weight, obviously, or below. Healthy weight is the right thing to say. You don't need this amazing, perfect, amazing image in the mirror. Do not fall into the trap of being superficial about yourself and putting yourself in this mental trap of being compared to other people. Do not focus outside of yourself when it comes to your weight. Like, your own weight is your own world. Whatever you want to take care of as far as your weight goes, that is your problem. That is no one else's problem. No one else can judge you for whatever weight you have. No one else can judge your fat amounts versus your muscle amounts. It is all about what you want to do. Try and make sure that your own world is all taken care of by you. There's no reason to let anybody else try and judge you for whatever you are. If you're a little bit overweight, whatever, you'll take care of it. And no one can judge you for that because you're trying your best and you're doing whatever you need to do in your life, and no one else needs to comment on that. All in all, I feel like maintaining a healthy weight is mainly about just being aware of your life, being aware of what you're doing each day. Obviously, if you're sitting down, snacking all day, try and knock yourself out of it. Say, hey, let's go for a walk. Let's stand instead of sit for some reason. Sitting for a good majority of your life can take a lot of years off your life, so they say. Something worth researching as well. And I suppose last thing I would say, just to kind of summarize what I've already said, is be deliberate about your life. Don't just mindlessly move forward with whatever particular thing is going on in your life. Anyway, I'll wrap it up here. Please let me know what more information you might want about this and what things I should say to amend what I've said, because there's a lot of things I would probably want to include in this video. But anyway, these are my opinions, and you should always research and try to form your own accurately informed opinion. Always be logical, be real, be aware, and be introspective. Enjoy the moment right now, because that's all that life is. So, see ya.